Is this the last chance to buy XRP at a good price, or will it drop below $1? Over the past few weeks, the crypto market has felt like a battlefield. We've watched fortunes appear and disappear in real time. Charts move faster than most people can even refresh their screens. And right in the middle of it all is XRP. If you've been following the price action, you've seen the same thing that I have. It ran all the way up, much past $3, and then it suddenly collapsed below $1.50. And now it's hovering around that $2 to $2.40 zone. The question everybody's been asking me right now is simple. Is this the last chance to buy XRP cheap before it rips again? Or are we going to see it fall below the $1? That's exactly what I'm going to break down in this video. I spent hours going through the charts, trend data, volume profiles, and on-chain flow so that you don't have to. I'll show you what I'm seeing, what I think is happening next, and how I'm positioning myself exactly for this situation. I am not a financial advisor. This video is based solely on my opinion on what I am personally doing in this market. I also want to let you know that some of the links below and in the descriptions are affiliate links, meaning I may get a commission, but it will be at no extra cost to you. Please remember that under no circumstances will I ever contact you and ask you for investments. You can confirm all of my real social media handles in the description and also at milkshakematty.com. This content is for educational and entertainment only, and I am not a financial advisor. Before we dive in, quick correction from my last video. I said the promo code CRASH7 would give you 7 days free trial inside the Wolfpack. That was wrong. I actually have given you 4 weeks completely free inside the Wolfpack. So yeah, I undersold it last time, and it's a massive win for anybody joining right now. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. All right, let's get into the XRP. When I look at what's happening with XRP right now, it feels like deja vu. We've seen this setup before. Every major bull cycle has that one asset that runs too hot, corrects violently, and then leaves everybody wondering whether it's game over or the calm before the next leg. Last time it was Bitcoin during the COVID crash. Before that, Ethereum in 2018. And in 2025, it might just be XRP's turn in the spotlight. The narrative around XRP has been incredibly polarizing. You've got one side screaming that regulation and delayed adoption have killed the momentum forever. And then the other side insists it's only just getting started, with central bank partnerships, liquidity corridors, and tokenized asset rails building underneath the surface. Both sides have good arguments, but markets don't care about opinions. They care about liquidity and sentiment. So let's start with the facts on the charts. Right now, I'm seeing 3 distinct zones on the XRP chart. Zone 1 is the resistance range, and that's anything between 270 to 280. This used to be strong support, but when XRP broke below it during the liquidation cascade, the zone flipped into resistance. Until we reclaim and close above $2.80 on a solid volume, any rally in this range is going to be suspect. Zone 2, I'm calling this the battleground. This is $2.30 to $2.40. It's where we are right now as I'm making this video. It's the psychological line where everybody says if it drops under 230, I'm out. I'm watching this level closely because a clean break below it could trigger a new wave of stop losses. And then zone 3, the deep support. This is $2 to $1.70. If XRP ever tests that region, that's where the long-term conviction is either going to be rewarded or shaken out. That's where I'd expect bigger buyers and institutions to reaccumulate quietly. Now, the candle structure itself is interesting. On the daily chart, we've printed a classic lower high, lower low sequence. That's a textbook bearish situation until proven otherwise. But on the shorter time frames, like the 4-hour, there's a divergence forming. Price is making lower lows while RSI is trending higher. That's usually a clue that selling pressure is starting to exhaust. Here's my honest read of what I'm seeing. I think XRP is still in a corrective phase and we might be not done yet. The market loves to overreact before it rebounds. If we drop another 10 or 15% from here, let's say we go down to $2, that's where I'm watching for reversal signs. At the same time, this doesn't look like the end of XRP. Not even close. Every major cycle since 2017 has seen XRP bleed hard before the strongest runs. Why? Because XRP is one of the most heavily leveraged and institutional traded assets in crypto. It always leads the emotional extremes. Right now, I'm seeing massive liquidation clusters that were wiped out around $2.30 to $2.40. Those are areas that once cleared often become strong bounce points later on. Now let's zoom out a little bit. What's happening in the broader market that could either lift XRP or sink it further? Number one, the Federal Reserve's next rate move. If they announce another cut, liquidity floods back into risk assets, including crypto. That could be the spark for XRP to reclaim that $3 region. Number two is the ETF cycle. Speculation around XRP related ETFs have been gaining traction, even though nothing's filed yet. If that conversation turns serious, we could see front running similar to what Bitcoin experienced in 2024. And then number three is the regulation. The SEC saga may be over legally, but the narrative is not over. Banks and payment providers are watching to see how Ripple expands on the on-demand liquidity network. More real-world use equals more demand for XRP liquidity. So there's plenty of macro fuel for another run, but only if we see clear technical confirmation first. Whenever I'm tracking this kind of setup, I rely heavily on the Howl line indicator. And if you haven't used it yet, you can actually try it for 7 days free in the description below. It helps me see trend reversals, momentum shifts that standard indicators will miss. All right, let's keep going on this XRP thing. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if this really is the last chance to buy before the next move up? Here's what that would look like technically. We see the price hold above $2.30. They form a base and it starts printing higher lows on increasing volume. RSI pushes back above 50 and the Howl line flips to green and says to you, we're going up. That's your first signal that momentum is shifting. From there, if we break through $2.70 and close a daily candle above $2.80, I'd expect a quick retest of the $3 region and possibly even spike towards $3.50 if volume follows it. Why? Because a lot of traders were liquidated on the way down. When the market starts moving back up, they rush to get back in. It's FOMO. It's classic crypto FOMO. And that creates a short squeeze effect. Also, XRP on-chain data is showing something quietly bullish. Wallets holding between 100K and 1 million XRP have been accumulating steadily since the crash. That's not retail panic buying. That's smart money positioning. If we start seeing transaction volumes on RippleNet expand again, especially through the Asian corridors, that could coincide with the next big leg up. So yeah, there's a real bullish case here, but you have to wait for the confirmation. Don't chase that green candle. Let the structure prove itself first. Now for the part that most of you don't want to hear. What if this wasn't the bottom? If XRP loses that $2.30 decisively, and I mean with volume, not just a wick, then the next major liquidity is down near $2 flat. Break that and we enter free fall zone where price could test 170 or even down to 130. Would we really drop below $1? Possibly, but in my opinion, it's unlikely unless there's a massive macro shock like an exchange collapse or a regulatory ban. Still, I have to acknowledge the pattern. Bear markets love to drag prices to where people swore it could never go. If you're leveraged too high or ignore risk management, those zones can wipe you out. Personally, if we drop down below the $2, I'll be watching closely for that capitulation volumes, big spikes in selling that signal exhaustion. That's usually when the smart money steps in to reload their bags. Remember, it's not about predicting the exact bottom. It's about positioning around probability. That's what we do inside the Wolfpack every day. You can join free for 4 weeks with the code CRASH7 if you want to see how we trade these setups live. The reason this correction feels so brutal is because people were getting used to winning trades non-stop. When you make money 5 days in a row, you start to believe you're invincible. The market reminds you, nobody is invincible. I've traded through every cycle since the early days, and it's always the same pattern. Greed, complacency, denial, panic, and eventually hope all over again. The goal is to recognize which phase we're in so you can act rationally while everybody else loses their heads. I bang on about the fear and greed index because it's such a good tool. Keep an eye on that fear and greed index. When we're in extreme greed, remember why everybody's feeling so greedy. It's probably a good time to start taking profits off the table. And remember, when we're in extreme fear, remember why people are feeling like that. If these prices are really down that low and extreme fear is gripped, then normally it's a good time to accumulate. During the crash the other day, when everything dropped and XRP lost nearly 50% of its value, I added to my XRP bag because I knew what was coming. The coming was it rising again. How far it rises, I don't know. But I knew that was a good time to buy and add to my position, so I did. Right now, we're probably in the panic, but start looking for hope phase. That's where opportunities start to form, but only if you're prepared for volatility. Every time we get a correction like this, the same question comes up. Should I sell or wait for lower or buy the dip? There's no universal answer, but I can tell you what I do. I focus on structure and momentum. I also focus on the fear and greed index. It guides me. If the price is printing lower lows and the Howl line is saying it's going down, I sit tight and I wait. That's when I start scaling in again. This approach has saved me a lot of pain over the years. The goal isn't to catch the bottom. You'll never time the bottom exactly. People say they will, but they never do. What you need to do is catch the trend that follows the bottom. So, is this the last chance to buy XRP, or is it heading below $1? Here is my take. I don't think we see sub $1 unless something catastrophic hits the entire market. But I do think we might see one more shakeout before the next major move up. For me, that's not a reason to panic. It's a reason to prepare. Because when the market finally turns, it won't give you time to think. It'll just go like a rocket. So get your plans ready now. Set your alerts, manage your risk. And if you want help navigating it, come and hang out with us inside the Wolfpack while that 4-week promo trial is still available. The code is CRASH7 and there's a link below. So that's my full breakdown on XRP. We've covered the bullish case, the bearish risk, and the levels that I'm watching. Whether you're an XRP believer or a skeptic, the truth is still the same. It makes no difference. The market rewards the prepared. If you found this useful, please let me know in the comments exactly how you're feeling about XRP. Is it going to go to the moon or is it going to crash down below $1? Nearly 60% of you watching these videos are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also remember to leave me a comment. My name's Milkshake Matty. That was all about XRP. Hopefully I've answered some questions that a lot of you have been asking. I appreciate every single one of you that's been tuning in. Remember, stay sharp, trade safe, and I'll see you on the next one. And remember this, the strength of the wolf is in the pack.